and welcome to our Trustee Connect Leadership Series. This is a very exclusive chat show wherein we are interacting with the actual pillars of our chamber, the actual pillars behind the Punjabi Chamber of Commerce, the good work that Punjabi Chamber of Commerce is doing presently. So I am honored to welcome Raj Whadwa. He is the trustee of Punjabi Chamber of Commerce, and apart from that, he is based out of Amritsar. He has been staying in New Jersey since past 25 years, and he is an experienced senior director with a demonstrated history of working in the commercial real estate industry. He is skilled in event planning, customer service, retail sales, franchise sales, and strategic planning, and a lot more that pertains to running a successful business. He's indeed an entrepreneur and leader in himself. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Wadhwa.
Thank you, Varinda. Thank you so much for the great introduction.
It's indeed a pleasure, sir. So, to get started, since the introduction talks about you, how busy your
Yeah.
schedule is, but apart from that, what is your favorite pastime? What interests you the most?
I have a lot of pastimes. As much as I like to work, and I like to spend a lot of time on myself as well. And
That's nice.
uh, we have this volleyball league that we've been playing for 20 years now,
Wow.
every Wednesday night. A lot of people change, but I sticked around because it's a long time, 20 years. A lot of people moved, a lot of people came, a lot of people got old, but
Yeah.
still running. Hopefully for a few more years. And then I also play tennis,
Wow.
and so tennis and volleyball was my thing to play, and watch cricket all the time. It's my favorite thing because growing up in Amritsar, actually I was in 1992 I was selected in Punjab team.
Okay.
So I had played for Punjab for a very short time, but I have played it. And so that's another reason that my love for
At the
cricket
professional
is
level.
at a professional level. Yes,
Oh, wow. That's nice.
I played for Punjab at under 16 in Punjab's team.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's the whole thing about multitasking. You get to explore more about yourself the more you get indulged in certain activities.
the more I learn about myself is I can't do one thing at a time. I have to do multi things. That makes me better. That makes me
Yeah.
produce better, I think.
That's nice. Every person is different, and that particular focus is something that is very important, whether you multitask or you concentrate on one thing. The whole
Right.
thing is that the result has to be very productive and nice. So that's a great trait in your personality, indeed. So, how well have you aligned these interests with your professional life and growth?
Well, it has connected because between volleyball and tennis that I play, I actually have shared along with my buddies. They became my clients as well, and not all of them, but some of them, and that really because they see me on the court, they see me how. See, my thing is always. I always believed in one thing is being transparent, being honest. You and sometimes it hurts you in a
Yes,
shorter term, but
yes.
in the long run, I think a lot of people appreciate being your transparency and honesty. Uh, Sometimes it does come as a rudeness. A lot of people, feel like that, and I've seen it. But the more and the more I have worked, and the more people I've approached, in last even 2 years, a lot of when I have picked up a lot of Punjabi clients, and they actually really appreciate the transparency and the honesty, because they believe that they have not find many people in our trade like that, because a lot of people like to manipulate and say things
They are more
differently and do
secretive
things
about
different.
things. Yeah,
Yes, so that actually has played in my favor a lot. You know, it doesn't matter. I'm a strong believer that every part of life has a problem, but then at the same time you have a solution to it.
Solution as
So
well. Yes.
if you run away from a problem, the problem becomes a bigger problem, and if you face the problem and try to solve it, you know, you can
You have
solve
to
it.
be a
So
competitor there
that's
as well.
right, right.
Yes. So the transparency thing that you told, that is very right. In fact, if we talk about the whole Punjabi community, this is something that differentiates the Punjabi community is that they are very open-hearted and transparent. They are never
Right,
secretive or, that if I tell something to this person will take it away or something like that.
right.
बहुत ही खुले दिल दे बंदे ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ
बिल्कुल,
ਆ.
100%.
Yes. Yes. So that's really nice about you. So, what was the turning point of your professional career? I mean, your professional journey altogether. You went there in New Jersey. Of course, you would have started a new life out there. So, what was the experience? What was running in your mind at that time?
Well, to correct you, I moved to New York, not to New Jersey. So I'm
Oh,
based out of New
okay.
York,
Yeah, yeah.
and when we moved here, obviously, it's a dream being going to America from Amritsar. I think every child that I don't know now, but when we were growing up, literally every other person wanted to go to either America, London, or Canada, somewhere around that. But it's a
Yes.
dream that you come with, and then when you come here, and the life is totally different.
Yes.
Nowhere close to you can imagine. So I would say, the first couple of years, the first year was a very hard year, very tough. Not as fact as that, I'm talking about the money or anything like that, but it's just the total life, the way we live life in back home and here is totally different. Very quiet, nobody around you. A lot of loneliness. And
Yes.
I'm a very, very people person, and I love people around me. I like noises. ਬਾਹਰ even ਗਲੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਸਬਜ਼ੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ there's nothing like that here, right? so
Yes. Yes.
so very quiet. So for the
People
first year
honking around and stuff
yep,
like that.
yep. So first year I had this came across my mind many times that I want to go back. What did I do to myself? Why, is money everything or not? But then slowly, you get busy, and then you start making your life, and then you don't even realize, then this life becomes better than the other life.
Yes.
So it took a while, and then uh, tried a few businesses, got into franchise business. That's how and then after everything, then I became the broker in 2014, and as a full time. I started part time around in 10, but then full time, and then I never knew that I would like this better than what I was doing before. So now this has become the passion. Also, I enjoy it. I love it because, again, as I said, I'm a very people's person. I love people, and this business is people business, right? It's basically that's what it is. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. You must have found your own friend in your own self when that one year, that one harder year was on your head, and you must have, explored more about yourself, your interests, how to combat that particular time. So, what are the three lessons that you got in your life till date? Three lessons that you can recommend to anybody, at least to me as a youngster here, that okay, these are the three mantras or three lessons that you have to take care in your life ahead.
See, the first and the foremost, I think, is it's not only for the youngsters. It's pretty much for everybody, right? It's what I
Yes.
said is the honesty and the transparency,
Yes.
and that's what I tell my kids all the time. Never lie.
Yes.
It doesn't matter because lie can just lead to other problems. Sometimes it's very hard to say, uh, be honest in a certain situations, but it's better to take the bullet right away. That's how I feel it. So that's my suggestion to a lot of youngsters out there, and even to my own kids. I say the second thing is discipline and focus. We spoke, right. So in life, I'm a strong believer. It's a discipline is what leads you to everything, right? It's everything is connected. Nothing is coincidentally. You don't see people or somebody's very successful and somebody's not. It's because the discipline and the focus that person has put in behind, you know,
Hmm.
And the
Yes.
results are not like I can't say, oh, you know what, okay, I'm gonna go on a diet and I'm gonna lose weight. If I don't eat today, would I lose weight tomorrow morning? No. Everything has the time, everything takes time, and that goes to a business work, personal life,
Like,
business life, whatever you take. I think discipline is the most important thing, and that's where I think a lot of us lack, you know.
absolutely.
And third is my favorite line that I have come up myself, and I think it's the most important. Attitude is your asset. Don't make it a liability. So this line I came up with, I was talking to one of my employee, and she was a great employee. She used to does great sales, but she had a lot of attitude, you know, and she would lose at the same time. So I was explaining her, and that's the line that I learned from her, saying to her that why do you have such a big asset as your attitude, and then at the same time you make it a liability, you know,
Yeah. Yes.
because with your good attitude you can achieve a lot of things in life, and being nice does not take a lot, but and a lot of people just for no reason, you know, have this rudeness and stuff, and that becomes their liability, and they don't realize how
Yes.
bad that can affect.
Yes. Right. Right. In fact, we have a lot many traits, and it's always our choice to how best we can make out of those traits. For example, we are all angry. We all have that anger trait in ourselves. We all have that happiness trait in ourselves. But how best are we utilizing the same pertaining to certain situations is something that comes into play. So, very rightly said. Attitude is also something that is there in all of us. But the thing is,
Everybody has.
yes, but the thing is
Just make it an
how to
asset.
use it and where to. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So, talking about Punjabi Chamber of Commerce, how did the idea started of getting involved into this initiative? And what is your vision going forward? Where do you see PCC in next 3 years? The backstory and the future story.
The future story. So the backstory is obviously it was, I'd say it's a brain behind is Gary Patricia, so that the credit goes to him. So he's the one. I don't know him that long. There are a lot of trustees that you will interview and you will talk. You'll get to know that these people know him for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. I only met him, I think, right before the Punjabi Chamber of Commerce started, maybe a year before that. So if it was launched,
Okay.
I don't even know, maybe 18. So we met in 17 or something. And
Yeah.
we met at a party, and that's where we started talking. And he said, "Oh, you know what? We started this WhatsApp group. It's called Punjabi Boys Night Out (PBNO). That's how the whole thing had started. And would you like to join?" I said, "Sure. What is it?" He said, "Just Punjabi networking. You know, we all Punjabis meet once a month." And I said, "So put me in." And then after a couple of get-togethers, I got to know a little bit more of Gary, and then we went out for a lunch one or two times, and then he approached me. He said, "Would you like to become a trustee?" And and then we had a meeting. What it takes to trustee, and what is his vision behind it? So I would say the vision is more him, right? What he has put together is it's amazing. Uh, I the reason for my reason to join was because there is a lot of communities out there which are Hindus and then which are Sikhs. But there was nothing that had one as a Punjabi. And his main motto was, that it can be no politics, no religion. Uh, Even there is some of the uh, groups are out there which has Sikhs or Hindu mix, but then once you talk about the religion, it creates an issue. So in this group, Gary was very upfront and very, uh, sure, clear about it because we can't have religion, and he mixed it up pretty well with Punjabis because a lot of people in the world do not realize that when they talk, it's they only think that it's only Sikh. They don't realize how many Hindus are as Punjabis. It could be as many as the Sikhs are. And they both have the same culture. We all believe in same things, but I think a lot of even in India, a lot of people don't understand that part. If you're from Punjab, then you're a Sikh. And I had people like that from Gujarat. They always used to think that they used to tell me, "You're not a Hindu, you're a Sikh," and which is it doesn't bother me, but the thing is that their lack of knowledge, that they don't understand what it is. So when that thing came in, and Gary was pretty clear about it, that this is going to be Punjabi, and as I said, I grew up in Amritsar. My best friends were Sikh. My wife is a Sikh, and to me, this was even today here also my best friends are Sikh. So for me, it was great. I always say we are one, and this could be nothing better than being one again. And a lot of people who do not believe on the both sides. I'm not saying one or the other. On the both sides, when they believe that we are separate, this is a great platform to show that we are one. So that's what it intrigued me a lot. And so I was always in it. And then the second part was the future. We came here. We still have the roots from Punjab. We know the culture. We still do everything here, even living here, what we used to do back. But how do the kids get engaged? How do for the future with the kids? As much as we want them to be westernized and have the culture, but at the same time we want them to follow the culture. It doesn't really
Stay
have to
connected
be
to the
the
roots.
religion, but the culture.
Yes.
The culture of what we are, our roots. So I think this can lead, if in near future they can join when they grow up and stuff like that. It opens up a totally different platform, and that give them engaged to their own people, and it's being India so big. There is a lot of Indian groups out there. Indian group of Long Island, Indian group of New Jersey. This, but I'd rather have one of those because when you look at the other people, they do have Irish club, they have the Jewish club, and this that. But being India is such a vast and big country and too many different cultures, so it was not a bad idea to make a Punjabi group and have Punjabi community together. Uh, and do not involve the mandirs and the gurdwaras and just keep it separate. No events in any mandir or gurdwara, and we keep it, no. So, and even in the kids, because sometimes what happens is a lot of the kids also they don't like to be involved in too much religion part, but when you make them as a cultural, they enjoy it. So it's a good future ahead.
So that has been very rightly said. In fact, if I talk about myself as well, I am not into that religious part because I tend to go back into the history. I am more like a person who believes in something that is seen. So that history is not something that I've seen. So then I certainly do not agree or connect with those beliefs. But on the other hand, if that is put forward to me in sort of a very cultural, fancy thing, then yes, I enjoy. So that's very rightly said. Yeah. So, Mr. Wadhwa, one last question. Since you have been surrounded by so many Punjabis throughout your life, so what is that one thing that you like the most, or what is that one thing that you want to mention about Punjabiyat as a community? So, this is the answer that has to be answered in Punjabi. It is mandatory to be answered in Punjabi language. One thing that you like about
ਮੇਰਾ
Punjabiyat.
ਮੇਰਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਬੈਟਰ ਖੁੱਲਾ ਦਿਲ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਮੇਰੇ ਹੁਣ ਆਬਵੀਅਸਲੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਬਾਹਰ ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਕੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੋ ਹਸਪਿਟੈਲਿਟੀ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਨਵਾਜ਼ੀ ਜੋ ਇੱਕ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਉਹ ਦੂਜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ
नहीं कर
ਭਾਵੇਂ ਇੱਕ
सकते.
ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਖਾਣੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਉਹਦੇ ਘਰ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਉਹ ਚਾਰ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਰੱਖ ਦਿੰਦੇ
Yes. Yes.
ਤੇ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੀਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ
Definitely. Definitely. Very rightly said. I don't know. I mean, it's very enthralling for me to talk to you, to interact with you. This came as an accident to me, but I am loving it. So yeah, thank you so very much for interacting
thank you
with me today, for taking
no
out
thank you
time
so
for
much
this series. and for all your support for PCC till date. And we look forward to seeking your support going ahead also. And I'm sure we'll reach our destination together, and that will be a
Thank
great experience altogether.
Absolutely. Looking
And
forward. Thank you so much.
I, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say that you are a very nice personality with all that consistency, transparency, and that discipline on all those things that you have, all those traits that you have in your personality. That's amazing. So, as a person, yes, I would like to stay connected with you going forward as well. So, yes,
Me too.
thank you
Thank
so
you so much. I
much.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Take care.
thank you so much.